Mr. First and foremost, I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Kakadash. That born to the apostles and else great millstone for teaching his truth, peace, and blessings to the whole of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the front Hebrew, Ba'Shem is the name, and Yahweh Shah is the name of the begotten Son. Background lesson I see within the title: AI is getting crazy, and discernment will be key. Because coming to the last days, you have a lot of great deception going out. We're going to have various people be deceived and fall for the various tricks and traps of Esau, Edom. Because they're especially going to be using this AI in order to demonize the prophets, the men of the Lord, to make it seem like we've said or did certain things when we didn't, to paint us in a certain way. Because once when we're speaking of Esau, even here, the wicked, the Bible speaks of. He didn't, create this AI for the good of humanity. Matter of fact, you see in the various problems that this is already causing. Dealing with the tons of water that is needed in order to generate these types of prompts. The various people that's getting ready to lose their jobs over AI. For example, dealing with, CGI artists that you see within movies, visual effects. Soon actors will no longer be needed, as you can see right here within this video I'm about to get. Just how hyper realistic these prompts, this AI is now beginning to get. That this will now be the cheaper and more convenient option to go with than spending hundreds of millions of dollars of paying these visual effects and CGI, artists, these actors. I mean, you can simply type up a prompt in AI and it'll generate it right up for you in mere minutes. But gonna get this out the way. Just thought I'd make a lesson, going into this right here, because it's another ploy and thing this devil will use in order to, target the prophets. As we already have, various people, calling out the things this devil's doing and what AI will be used for. Because now when you see, crazy things happen, they're going to be, pointing the finger to AI as to, that's the, or, what you see. And it was AI. Because that's what even, people will joke about nowadays. That if they're caught in 4K doing something stupid, whatever the case may be, that's AI, man. I didn't do that. Or if you see, let's say, a chariot, this devil points the finger towards the AI. You shouldn't believe everything you see. But you also have a lot of people that are actually, will be AI out here and people will fall for it. So that's why, I made another key point. Within the title, discernment will be key. Because you have a lot of people out here trying to garner views, attentions, likes, creating, videos of something happening within the sky when it really didn't. This is why we need to apply this wisdom and knowledge that we have been given. If you see something happen that's not written or according to this word, then obviously something's up. You also have this devil has this, Project Bluebeam, which a lot of people have been, speaking on, which it should be, pretty much common knowledge now. I say that would be one of the most common things amongst the people, know nowadays is Project Bluebeam. And one of the main things that people say is that the devil doesn't try to, fake a second coming. So if you see, Caesar Borgia, this white man coming back, then obviously it doesn't align with what the scriptures say. But gonna get this video out the way. Don't want to start the intro. But let's read this off. It says AI videos are now impossible to tell they are, not real. So just going to show how advanced, this AI is beginning to get. And once again, while, discernment will be key. So let's get this out the way. And you're going to see, why, I brought up these points regarding, why soon actors, CGI artists, visual effects artists would, are used to, create explosions and, crazy things you see happen within movies. Well, soon, you're no longer needed. These high-profile actors no longer needed. And I won't be surprised if you see, a lot of these actors giving away their, license to, use their face, their body for AI, you know? And I believe, matter of fact, you had one of these, I forgot his name, but he does something with his hands, where he kind of puts both of them out to some cabby lame, if I'm correct. I believe he gave away his rights to use his voice, face, and everything, which he got like his super deal, contract. Which I don't know if that's the correct name I said, but there was that. But let's continue on.
You think you're in control. Control? You're not.
And you see, this is just one little example. You can find various other, videos of these AI prompts being super advanced, and you especially have people falling for it and being deceived already from these AI videos. So these comments had to say, how on earth have they been able to make such a big leap? So what they're showing you this right here, it still most definitely has something much more advanced behind the scenes, because this is given to the public. Let's see. Makes such a big leap. AI acting was so cold, but this is genuine emotions. So now it's beginning to get harder and harder to tell the difference. Let's see. So wow, this is very believable. Holy moly. This is we're doomed. So look at this right here. So welcome to the age of misinformation and chaos. That's what you get ready to see. But I got a couple scripts that came to mind. I'm not sure if they're in order or not, but I'm gonna get to the points. This is Matthew 24 and 24, and it says, for there shall arise false anointed and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, and so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. But it's going to show just how great that deception is going to be, that if it were possible, the elect would be deceived, but it's impossible to deceive the Lord's men, because that's who Yahweh Bashem has bestowed his 100% truth, his knowledge and understanding unto. As well, you also can show your true Lord do nothing but reveal the secret and the surface of prophets, because it's given to you to understand the mysteries of the kingdom Most High. Paraphrasing. It's given unto you, but to them it's not given. Roughly paraphrasing, just a couple scripts came to mind. Going to his wisdom being bestowed upon the Lord's elect. So it's impossible to deceive the Lord's men. But it just wants to further going to show that point of how great that deception is going to be. As Isaiah 33 and 6, and it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So wisdom and knowledge will be the stability of our times. When you're going to that word stability, you're going to stable. Let's see what these other translations say. Sure foundation. Let's see, GNT. We can actually look it up real quick. Stability. The state of being stable, firmness, balance. Because with all the deception and chaos, and the hell is getting ready to break loose, the Lord's elect, the prophets you're going to have that stability. They're going to be sane when people are in mass panic. They're freaking out, bugging out. That's why you're going to have these people in the last days seeking out the men of the Lord, the prophets, that taught and have this truth, but it's going to be far too late. Let's go at that point one more time. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. So with all the distractions, deception, deceits that's going out, the elect will be able to see right through that. That's why you also say 2 Corinthians 2:11, now we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, especially looking at things with a spiritual eye. able to, pick up on particular things. And wisdom knowledge shall be stability at times, and strength salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So going to show the importance of having this wisdom, this knowledge, understanding, as you can also further get in Psalms 91. Going to how this truth shall be thy shield and buckler. But in Psalm 17:13 it says, arise, Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked. Now who is the wicked speaking of? You get that in Malachi 1 and 4. Going to Esau, Edom being labeled, being called the border of wickedness. Further on to that point, Genesis 27:39-40, going to Esau's blessing, which was the fatness of the earth and the sword, which we're going to further read right here. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. And part of that sword is this deception. His, what's the word I'm looking for? It's another word I was looking for to go along with it. But, Lord's will, come back to me. But it says, the Lord disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. And the Lord's going to be, using them as that sword, especially swinging upon you wicked Israelites, you Jakes, that don't want to repent, that don't want to seek the Lord. But also those in his faith and his truth are going to be tried, are going to be tested, as you in the scripture, for the gold is tried in the furnace of adversity. I believe also in the book of Isaiah goes into that silver and gold is refined, or paraphrasing. Well, this devil's getting ready to crash out. Revelation 12, going to this great wrath he's getting ready to come down with. But, once again, part of that sword is this great deception. See how the devil controls the media, the narratives you see within the news. So you best believe he's going to be using this AI in order to, push and promote particular things, as well as to paint, certain individuals a certain way. Because you already see, the words that are thrown out at the prophets, at the men of the Lord. People use the word extremists, cults, hate groups. So you already see the, hatred that is, towards the prophets already. So imagine if they use or, type up an AI prompt, make it seem like, one of the brothers, did something crazy when they didn't. Which will, garner more heat, hate, towards the men of the Lord, which you get within the scriptures of, what will soon come to face. How it will be demonized, But as well as he's further going to the points that I brought up earlier, the various problems you see AI, is causing and ultimately will cause, where you have, you will have various people lose their jobs over it. Matter of fact, you already have mass layoffs from Amazon and various other locations where soon AI will pretty much take over. Where it will be the, now so-called cheaper option, much more convenient and, quicker option. As I made that point dealing with these the movie industry. Soon, movies will not only be, take a full, 2-3 years to be made. But the second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 9 says, even whom who is coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So a lot of deception is getting ready to go out. And a lot of people be deceived and tempted, into trusting, Esau, Edom, this devil taking certain things, which ultimately speaking of this MOTB. Because you're also going to have these miracles before on the left-hand side through this technology. He also may use Project Bluebeam to, make up a certain scene, whatever the case may be, where you have people be deceived and you'll fall for that. So, we have to see. But this is why you get in the scripture once again in Isaiah 33:6, how wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Because we have the playbook, we have the script to this movie. So we got a couple more scriptures, and that'll be the points, Isaiah 30 and 1-3. And it says, woe to rebellious children, say the Lord, that take counsel, but not me, that cover the covering beyond my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go on to Egypt, and have not asked in my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in shadow of Egypt. Verse 3, main point. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in shadow of Egypt be your confusion. So it's going to be your shame and confusion for trusting in this devil. Matter of fact, one look throughout history should tell you This devil is not to be trusted in any way possible. Look what he did to the tribe of Gad, which are the so-called Native Americans. All the backstabbing that took place throughout history and just atrocities that was committed in general, and yet Jake wants to believe that he's changed his ways, that he's different. They want to believe that AI will be used for good, that the government set in place for your well-being, for your benefit. But we'll see about that when it comes to about you in the back, in the behind. Matthew 5:10-13, it says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." So a scripture going to when to be tried. James 1:12, "The man that there is temptation, for when he is tried, shall receive the crown of life which life promised him that love him." Paraphrasing. Verse 11, "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake." I mean, come on. You already see AI being used to make it seem like certain celebrities are standing for something when they're not. They're saying certain things when they didn't. Matter of fact, you already have deep fakes, which has been a problem. We see a lot for a lot of these women. They'll take a celebrity's face or a woman's face, slap it onto another person, doing a certain type of act, As I made that point earlier, we're speaking of Esau, Edom here. The wicked, the Bible speaks of, is not going to be used for the good of humanity. Matter of fact, especially, one look throughout these movies, tells you all the wrong and then the bad, in AI. Why it's such, a bad idea. For example, you see with the Terminator. I believe also the movie Megan is a slight, good example. Where AI just, goes haywire. Matter of fact, you have actual, real life occurrences. I believe they're in China where you had, I want to say the robot took out 2, if not 3 workers, and they were trying to, shut it down. And, the AI and the robot, I believe, either tried to, get into the satellite or into, whatever it was, around to try to, keep itself alive, to try to save itself, And I'm roughly just recalling, what I remember dealing with that. And you also, various other, examples, which I wouldn't say I made a few lessons going into, but that one over there in China is, one of the ones I remembered. Now, let's see, because you're especially going to be seeing, not devils, robots, being patrolling the streets. I was going to say this devil using robots, to patrol these streets and, put these AI programs more to target specific people. Because you already see all the things they slap into these robots. For example, you see at these shooting ranges having near perfect accuracy with these weapons. They would just, see through walls and, track whatever. Matter of fact, Elon Musk at one point came out and said, or he's asked a question, about, killer drones. He jumped at the question, pretty much saying they Ben did that. Matter of fact, he broke down what you could do. He said you could take, the Face ID scanner from the iPhone, slap onto the drone to scan and track, whoever the target is. So going to that point, they put, these AI programs into these robots to target specific people, which ultimately are going to be the prophets, because we're the main ones speaking and going against this place. But especially why within the scriptures that spiritual power is going to be needed, and why, literal divine intervention will be needed, especially with everything that we're going to come down with. That power will be needed, but stay on the main track. It's like if I'm kind of veering off topic or rambling, but let's get back to the point. So let's read verse 11 one time. "Blessed are you, and men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake." So you best believe AI is going to be used in order to especially heavily do this right here. Because once you already had I want to say a couple months back, you had a fake article come out about a literal AI fake Israelite doing something when they didn't, in order to bring blame to this ministry. So you had a literal fake news article about a literal made up fake Israelite doing something. So I want to word that a little bit better, but Let's go back to verse 12. It says, rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. And that's the point right there. Let's get this one more scripture, and that'll be the point. It is Matthew 10:22, and says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So we're going to be tried, we're going to be tested, we're going to be hated, we're going to be demonized. And you have a lot of Israelites out here in a buckling that pressure. Bend that knee, turn to Esau, Edom, putting the faith and trust in him, which we already read what that's going to do for you in Isaiah 30. Be your shame, your confusion. But that's the point. We'll make a quick lesson regarding the advancements of AI, the various problems that will occur from it. There will various people losing their jobs over it. Demonization, being used from AI. Because once you already have various prompts being made of celebrities doing crazy things when they wouldn't do that, or did that in the first place, But that's the point right there. Those people I tight points give us my ability. And gratified and close out. Give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Shem, Shabbat, Shem, Shalom. See you next one, Lord's will.